Okay, everyone, I'm so excited for our guest today. Asha, welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you so much for having me, and hello to everybody listening. I'm so thrilled to be here today.
Thank you. I love it. I'm so excited and jacked up to hear all about your story. But I would love to first ask you, what are you most excited about that's coming up in your life? It can be anything.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Well, this evening, I'm actually going to be attending the inaugural ball for the mayor in Beverly Hills, which is so exciting. So that's fun.
Oh,
And I just won a bikini contest this weekend. I won first place and then second. Yes, snaps away.
hell
So feeling
yeah.
hot, 40, it just turned 43. Our house just burned down. So I'm feeling super excited about it. And I just had like a week off eating a ton of tacos, which
Fuck
was
yeah.
great because I went to the gym and all these men last night were like, God, you're so beautiful. I'm like, dude, I literally just stuffed my face with burgers and tacos. So I think that you got to kind of grime it up a little bit, then you're more magnetic.
I love that. And
Yeah, it's
good for
fun.
you. Like you're
Thank
like,
you.
I'm gonna do the thing and then I'm gonna fucking eat delicious food and still be a vibe. Cause like shit. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do both.
It's the biggest fact. When you learn like 90% of all of your attraction is energy,
Mm.
it's like I just think I'm the hottest woman in the room, even though I'm like, clearly not and still, but it's your own reality. Just live in the reality you want to
Yeah,
live
right, right. I love that. I love that energy.
Yeah, yeah. Being hot is
So
a decision,
literally. So you
literally.
said your house burned down. Very
Mhm.
sorry about that. That is just so heartbreaking. But I would love to kind of know a little bit more about like your background and like how you got to where you are today as an author.
Oh,
You wrote a
thank you
book.
so much. Yeah. So my name is Aasha T. I am the CEO and founder of BeyondEQ International. And what happened for me in about 2017, I was really sick. I got cancer, precancerous cells, and I had an overactive thyroid. And I was like 50 pounds heavier than I am now, maybe even close to 60. But I was going to the gym and I was eating all the right food. And I was like, married and living on the beach in Australia. I'd had plenty of money. But for some reason, everything was suffering inside. And I knew, well, I started teaching EQ, emotional intelligence. And I was like, wait a minute. If I have such high emotional intelligence and everybody and their mother has such high emotional intelligence, just ask anybody, they're all very aware. How come I cannot stand being in the same room as my partner? I snap at everything. I have a terrible relationship with food. I was an alcoholic and I have an overactive thyroid and anxiety. What the hell? Something's not aligning. And that is when I got really ripped off of my, like, everything crumbled and was removed from my life very aggressively in 2020. And I learned that I had an emotional attachment from a man about 18 years earlier. This is all in the book. The Empath is the Narcissist. And when he let go of me, I felt it. And I reached out to him, which is like total like narcissistic behavior. My marriage was like crumbling. We were still married, but I was like reaching out there. And I realized that in that I'm like, oh my God, like I'm attaching to men. And God, it just got so nuts. So many crazy things happened. Really, it's best to buy the book and like dive deep in. But when that man reached out to me, it just became, I saw that I couldn't love my husband. I was like people pleasing and keeping up with the Joneses and like really putting all my money into like saving the ocean with Greta, like really like my energy was all going into like these big things, but I was like ignoring the man in my bed. And I realized that that was because I didn't love myself. And so when I learned to open my heart and I was like, oh my God, I hated you because I hated me. We can do it now. He ran away. And so then I realized, oh my God, he was chasing after that avoidant energy. And it's referred to as push pull dynamic. And so from that point forward, I made it my life's mission to figure out how to get to the root of that so that people come into beautiful relationships with themselves and with everyone around them
Wow.
and get
Mic
hotter and
drop.
richer. Yeah, let's go. And then you also get hotter and richer and have better sex. It's like the best job in the universe. It's fun.
I love this. So 2020 was your pivotal transition out of your
Mhm.
marriage, and this person reached out, and that's kind of, would you say that that's like the pivotal moment?
Yeah, so it was like I actually was we were living in Bali, me and my first husband, and again, everything on paper, like so perfect, but you
Right.
never know what was going on. And this is so common, Janae, you know this, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
people put on
totally.
this persona and then they haven't slept together in months or years, or they only sleep
Yeah.
together when they're drunk and there's fighting and disconnect and all this stuff. And I looked at this couple and they were not that. I could feel the light emanating off them. And I
Mm,
actually said, I want that. And I looked at my husband and I really thought it was going to be him, only to
right.
learn that it wasn't him. And I have never left a man since. I've not even really been with men physically since my husband, one man,
Hmm.
like the last 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of emotional connections with men, but I don't leave
Mm,
the men. I just go deeper into my body and deeper into my body and they ricochet away or they come closer. And so,
interesting.
yeah, that was the pivotal moment was me saying, I want that love. And anything in my past and even the past of humanity would have you questioning if it's even freaking possible. But then I was
Yeah.
like, why is it possible for her and
Mm,
not possible for me? We're the same.
yeah.
It's like why one person's reality is $1 million a day and another person's reality is $10 a day. What's
Mm,
the difference? Self-love, self-worth.
ooh,
Yeah.
self-love. Oh my God. So
Yeah.
if you were to go back to 2020 and be like reminded of like, okay, I need to start learning and how to love myself. Like, is there anything that sticks out that like helped you kind of get to that point? Because I think that a lot of people struggle with like loving themselves and giving themselves like everything that they need in life.
Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful question. So, because I was very avoidant, I was also very selfish. So, I like really on paper, it looked like I was really taking care of myself. Lots of shit, bags and things like that, and, trips and stuff, all this temporary stuff. If I could go back to that time, I would have gotten into energy work sooner. I believe working on your chakras as a woman and working consistently on your energy and your emotional intelligence, if you're not doing that, it's almost weaponry against humanity. Women are about 90%, men are just following around the energy of the feminine. And so we have a duty as women to take care of that. Now, I will say what happened in my wake up call was I like instantly was like, oh my God, my husband's my leader. And I was leading for so long that I saw that me leading and making all these decisions was really what took us out of alignment. But I couldn't take his leadership, even though it was the thing that I wanted so deeply. And when I was then able to take it, he couldn't handle it because he was like, oh my God, I'm not fit to lead. He actually even said, I just don't think I'll ever be able to keep up with what you need. And even then he
Oh,
was leading me. It was very, very sad, but he was leading me in that moment as well, where I was like, shit, like we
interesting.
can't do this. And I realized I chose him on a trauma bond. I chose him because of my own
Mm-hmm.
limits. And so maybe we were never meant to grow in tandem together. Maybe his highest love is somebody else. And that's what I truly believe. So that's what I'm doing now is just aligning to the highest level of love that I can.
Wow, that's really
Yeah.
powerful. And thank you for sharing that because that's like that's deep. And I feel like so many people are probably going through
Or
like the energy differentiation
I
and like,
know. I know.
and I think when the thing that stuck out to me that you said is like you wanted to follow his energy. Do you think on his end when you tried to lead, do you think he felt like emasculated as the man that he was like, oh, well, I don't really want to do that? Like, have you ever experienced like some like a man being like, oh my God, I can't do that. Like I'm supposed to be the leader type of dynamic.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like that's the thing is like when it was finally like when I finally saw that I should be following him, I think it overwhelmed him
Yeah.
in that moment. But yeah, of course he was emasculated. Oh my God. And like
Mm,
women are doing it all the time because women by nature, we are very controlling. Why? Because we're crazy. No, I'm kidding. Because we are made of love. We're made of
Right.
love. And when you have love, love is boundless. Love doesn't have, don't leave me, don't you hurt me. That's not what love is. Love is free flowing. It's
Mm,
beautiful. So love does need to be contained by something, right? So we have inner and outer masculine and feminine energies.
mm,
Deeper you can go into your feminine essence, the more masculine of the man around you. That requires surrender.
mhm,
Surrender means I'm giving you my eyeballs. You're going to see for me. So, why is this so unnatural? Because in primal times, we were taking care of like all these villages and all the kids, and we're skinning freaking dead animals. And we are doing 800 things at once, where the masculine only had to go hunt for boar, come back and have sex, and then go back out again. So, in those primal times, we began to build these protective mechanisms, which are now known as fight, flight, or freeze. And so when a woman feels threatened, she'll want to control. What does this look like? Right? Because you're like, well, great, science shit. What this looks like is anxiety, people pleasing, obesity, heart disease, ruminating thoughts, lack of follow through on your purpose. You start something and then you're like, oh no, I'm about to receive. Let me go jump and do another thing. And so, like, literally, those are the behaviors that play out when, and then also, snapping at our husbands or completely shutting off and not being able to speak. That's how I got
mm,
overactive thyroid. I couldn't speak up from my heart. Instead, I'd be
right.
like, I want you to change this. I want you to change this. And that's the result of feeling like you need to control as a woman.
Oh wow, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
So in turn, because I feel like I can relate to a lot of this. Like I'm
Oh,
like, as you're talking, I'm like, I do that. I do that. Shit.
it's so relatable. It's so
Yeah, it is so relatable. And I think,
receiving is so hard as a feminine.
yeah.
Because okay, so like it's almost like if you guys can't see me, you've got shields around your heart space as a woman, not because you're an evil, crazy lady, but because you're protecting yourself. It feels scary out there
Ah,
on your own. And so, like,
right.
in your mind, can't tell if you're scared of a man at a grocery store or if your mind can't tell if he's coming after you as a saber-toothed tiger. Your
Mm,
mind's only telling you a story. So, what we do is we build like these shields around our heart and we block the very thing that we want, which is that nurturing, warm, deep connected love with the masculine.
mm.
I know.
This is so fascinating. So, how did you get from like you were talking about like you want to control things and like the anxiety and all those feelings? How did you push through or like is there something that's if someone's listening and they're like I can relate to this kind of like myself,
Yeah,
is there things that we can do to work on those feelings?
100%. 100. There's a three-step method. I'll share it with your
Love it.
audience the best. And I do have a free video on this too, in case anybody wants to like listen later with my face. Okay, so the first step you need to do is you have to understand that awareness is not enough. If you are aware of something, it's really very deep. So what I always say with the first step, it's increasing your emotional intelligence. To measure, you measure sort of 3 to 4 areas. Number one, your love life on a 1 to 10. Where would you say it is? Number two, your body and your relationship with food. That's the second thing you want to measure on a scale of 1 to 10. The third thing, your purpose. Are you just thinking about dancing on the stage and speaking on a stage, or are you actually doing it? So that's number three. And number four is your beauty, which is also your gifts, your magic. Beauty is your connection to saying, yes, I'm a psychic seer and I'm an energetic master, whether you're a man or a woman. So the first step is to increase your emotional intelligence by measuring those 4 areas: beauty, love, health, and purpose. The second thing that you need to do is you've got to work on two major wounds: the mother wound and the father wound. Now, you might be like, Asha, I had an awesome mom. She was home all the time. Yeah, well, it goes back like 5,000 generations and it also goes up into the sky. So it's like you really We don't even know about the Divine Mother. Nobody's even talking about her. So you got to realize that everything stems in those two wounds: rejection, abandonment, fear of being seen, fear of not being seen. So that's the second step. Address your core wounds. And then the third step is to ignite your purpose. Once you do step one, which is increasing your emotional intelligence, and then you do step two, you work on those shitty stories that are holding you back through core wound work. Rejection and abandonment are the biggest ones. Father wound, mother wound. Your purpose starts to ignite. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, I can read tarot cards, or oh my God, I should be living in Washington State doing tech work. Why do I want to go to Washington State? And what people do if they haven't done number one and number two is they maybe get little hints of moving to Washington State, but they never pull the trigger because they're afraid on some level. Or they're like, oh, well, my wife doesn't want to move to Washington State. I better stay here. Why do they do that?
Right.
They're afraid of abandonment wounds. So
Wow.
people literally give, or I'm a mom now. I've got to make sure my kids finish high school, and then I'll take a big scary step. And that is what has really screwed us as humanity. And so your values and your purpose are underneath those first two steps.
Wow. This is blowing my mind. I love
Yeah,
this. It's
I know.
so good because
So good.
I think that a lot of those wounds I often think about and talk about with my therapist, and just like when something's happening, I'm like, okay, what is triggering this? Like, I'm really trying to find the root cause of things.
Yeah.
And it's very fascinating because it's sometimes things that you need to talk it through, because I think someone hearing you, they're like, oh, okay. Like when you said the fear, like I said this recently to someone, but it was so interesting. So like, when people are on their deathbed or they're like pretty much dying, they're fucking at the nursing home, whatever. They say that their biggest fear is what? Things that they didn't do, right?
Yeah, that's right. Regret.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
so if you want to do, like, I love that you said like ignite your purpose, like the last step, because I find that if you can figure out what you want to do and you don't do it, or you're scared, just like baby steps, right? Like do researching it, like manifesting it. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking it into the universe. I know I it sounds crazy, but that shit works. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think manifesting is something so powerful that I bet if everyone did it, more of their dreams would come true. I truly believe that.
Yeah, so we're always that you've hit on so many points. So I teach magnetism, like even all the
Mm.
stuff that's out there with like dating and stuff, like sure, be a good person, look pretty, learn feminine communication, but masculine and feminine, we both need feminine communication. It's emotional intelligence communication.
Yeah.
But we really in polarity increases in that place, but like you have to be aligned to your purpose. And so okay, so I always use this awesome example. Let's say Janae, is it Janae? Like
Janae, yeah,
I
you
love
got
that.
it.
Okay. So let's say Janae, you have this, you're born with this idea and you're like, I have to open up a business called Bikini Cakes where I'm making cupcakes in my bikini. And then your mother, who never followed her purpose, is like, no, Janae, that's a terrible
Mm.
idea. But your dad's like the man, and he's also maybe a little emasculated because your mother's like a tyrannical bitch. He's like, no, Janae, you should definitely do it. Now you've got what we call like two parallel realities where the
Yeah.
father is supporting you and the mother is shunning you. It's the dark mother. So now you're
Mm.
growing up and then you're in like high school and you're like, I kind of want to do bikini cakes. And so you
Mm.
go take a risk and you're like, I'm going to go to school for like marketing and learn how to become the bikini cake master and open this franchise. And you fuck it all up. You start drinking and and the next thing you know, you're 38 and you're like sitting in this cubicle doing this thing and you've completely forgotten. You like don't even remember anything like at all. In meanwhile, there was a man across the globe who is married to like brownie cakes lady or brownie bikini lady because she's kind of like the cakes lady, but there is no bikini cakes lady because
Yeah.
she's sitting in this office
Yeah.
hiding. So there's such a higher meaning to igniting your soul purpose. So
Mm.
what I said to a client this morning, she goes, Asha, she just signed up for me with me for another course that I'm running in deep, deep emotional intelligence. And she goes, Gosh, I'm so nervous because I'm afraid there won't be enough time to do the things that I love. And I said, you've got to
Mm,
get that mentality out because when you expand your energy, you think that, God or whoever is up there put those things in your soul like as like a na 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 boo boo. Yeah, I know it feels like that sometimes,
right.
but actually they're in there for you to go in and access and say, oh, I manifested this. So you just
Mm,
widen your capacity. I'm a CEO, bikini model, dancer, roller skater, mother, everything you can think of, I'm doing. And
fuck.
I'm just signing up for pole dancing now. And
Fuck
I take
yeah.
public speaking. And I run a tech business and a team. And
That's
it's not
dope.
and like I'm not even burnt out. I'm like so lit by life. So
That's good. That's
yeah,
great.
and people are like, what's the
Important.
ticket? And I'm like, the ticket is expand your energy. That's it. All you have to do is clean out your
Expand.
dirty DNA.
Mm.
Yeah, clean it up, wash it out.
I love it. And I think
Yeah,
taking a chance, taking a risk, like not waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect person to do it with, go on that trip by yourself. If you want to go somewhere and no one wants to go with you, go with yourself, right?
go with yourself.
Go
Yeah,
meet some people. Go out to dinner by yourself. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it
Put yourself
you
out there.
yeah, and I think too, like you're in control of only what you say and what you do, right? You can't control what Joe Schmo thinks about you or what your boss is fucking saying to you. Like,
Yeah, that's it.
it's so important to follow what you feel is like figuring out what your heart is telling you, right? And like what your passion, what lights you on fire. Like, it
That is
really is
powerful.
powerful.
Yeah, and like, look, I'll tell you, like, even back to the feminine masculine thing, there's so much distortion where people are like, in order to be feminine, you must be a trad wife.
Right.
And I'm like, I have never once had a man ever ask me how much money I make. He could give a shit. At the gym,
That's
it's like
good.
flies on shit because I'm so feminine and there's like such a lack of feminine energy. And they'll be
Mm,
like, wow, you're so cute and fun. What is this? And then like you're a bit of a savage. It's very confusing, but at the same time, it's very alluring. And the reason, and they're not like, how much money do you make? Like
right.
that's not it. They're actually trying to like compete for masculinity, like who's going to be the one that gets chosen. That's the vibe. And so there's just so much here that's confusing women. And men, we're constantly being programmed and told who to be. Now, look,
Yes.
you need structure and you need coaching. Like my bikini coach, like I just do what she says. I hired her because she's a professional. I hire my sales
Right.
coaches because they're professionals. I don't question them. They've got the result. I hire them. They give me the information. I do the thing. I get
Yeah.
the result. And so what people do is they're like, oh, it could be wrong. It could
Right.
be the wrong idea. Let me invest in something else. But you're bringing the same shitty person to the party, right? Like people like
Mm,
Facebook doesn't work for marketing. Let me go to Instagram. I'm like, no, no, you're still the same person. And there's billions of
yeah.
people on Facebook. You're not changing. And so there's this really beautiful way that you have to understand that it is always your inner energy that
Mhm.
matters. And that's why I love energy work so much.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
fascinating. And I think too, like when someone thinks of masculine, like the first thing that comes to my mind is like you said, like protection and like
Yeah.
assertiveness. But I think some people, or at least what I've heard when I talk about these things, is I think some people think like, oh, only a man can be, assertive. But like when us females are in our masculine, maybe we can give some like examples of like, oh, it doesn't mean we have to be manly and like in charge, but like bringing out that masculine energy can be very valuable in certain
Oh,
situations.
yeah.
So maybe we talk about something like examples of
Yeah.
how women can use that energy, and
Yeah.
then after that maybe we can talk a little bit about feminine and kind of how we can
Oh
switch
my God.
them up a little bit.
Oh my God, how fun ski. Okay, so when I'm running my business, I am in my authoritative, dominantly king energy. So I treat my inner masculine as my king. So you would be a fool to think a man who has never done shadow work has a better inner king than me. My inner masculine is higher than a lot of men's inner masculine because many men are arrested in their development. They're stuck as like a 14 or 15-year-old consciousness, and they're not doing the shadow work. They're going to be bitter toward me or afraid of me or intimidated by me instead of activated by me to like be a better man. So I want to make that a little bit clearer. So if you, when you work on your emotional intelligence, you are increasing your inner king and your inner muse, your inner feminine and your masculine. That's what you do with emotional intelligence. It's empathy and personal power. So if I've got a stronger inner king, even if I'm with a man who's like making a couple $1 billion a year, I've had a billionaire come into my life. He wanted me to do a certain thing, and I said no. I said absolutely not. Why? Because he's no loss to me. Now, he had a bit of an emotional reaction, an emotional breakdown, of course. And I kind of like, I'm like, all right, whatever, good sales strategy. It was still a no, right? So you still set a boundary because you're not afraid of loss. So really, the inner masculine is only your personal power. And you learn in personal power, the opposite of personal power is people pleasing. So if you're a wicked people pleaser, or if you're somebody who just bends all the time, even though you don't want to fucking do that and you're doing it anyway, you have to look at the relationship you have with your inner king. So that's how you use masculine energy.
Wow.
That's how I use masculine energy. And now I don't tell men what to do, but I also don't tell my women team members. Like I do tell them what to do, but it's mostly about giving the power to them, letting them make
Right.
decisions. And that's how I run my kingdom.
Wow.
Now, if I'm around a man, and I'm not talking any man, most men that I work with are in a working capacity. But if I'm with a potential suitor,
Mm,
he has to lead me. He has to be more powerful than me. It's hot as
mhm.
hell. And so the
Yeah.
men I attract, I don't care how much money they have in the bank. I could care less because I know the power of what I'm going to give a man because I'm
Yeah.
so pure in my feminine energy around a masculine man. So in that case, you want to sit back and like, but at the
Right.
same time, you're a reflection of that man's motherfucking power. So you
Mm,
better not be some swampy woman that doesn't follow her purpose and doesn't
right.
do stuff. Like there's plenty of swampy feminine women out there. Trust me, I played that role for a long time. I was like, rescue me, help me, rescue me. And they're like, oh fuck, no one's coming. This is like bullshit. And then when he does come, you goddamn right, I'm gonna be laying down eating grapes while also running a $1 billion company. So it's
Fuck yeah.
like that's what the power of the masculine is. It's so all distorted now. All your masculine is your confidence, your personal power, and your ability to do that without caring if people come or go, or without
Mhm.
expectations on how people should act. So
Yeah.
we want this sovereign life, and we want to be confident as women, and we want to be all these things, but then we don't want the masculine doing it too much, and we want them to be this way, and we want them to be that way, and that's actually a bit of a distortion. Just stand on your own soapbox. Have no
Yeah.
attachments. So that's how I use masculine energy, and I
That
call
is
it
so
king.
helpful.
So
An inner
helpful,
king.
right?
I love that. I
Yeah,
really
that's all
love
it
that.
is. Yeah, and when you blend it with muse, it's like let's say Janae, you're like, okay, let's say your like big mission in life is to get everybody to wear Crocs,
I
right?
love
Terrible.
Crocs.
You gotta hear my Croc jokes. I love that so much. I hate Croc. I don't hate them, but I'm always like, oh, everybody's in
No,
Crocs
they're
and sweatpants,
so
Crocs and
ugly, but
sweatpants.
they're so comfy.
I feel like at some point they're gonna end up being my sponsor. I'm gonna end up being like a sponsor for them because
Hell
I just
yeah.
always rip on them. They're so funny.
So
Okay, so let's say, okay, so great. You've great mission. It's aligned. You love Crocs. Let's go. You're trying to get everybody to love Crocs. And you've got an entire group of men that hate you. They
mm,
fucking hate you. Your boo-boos, if your inner masculine isn't confident, your inner masculine is gonna go, hey, wait a minute, that
mm,
hurts my feelings. And now I need
right.
to post up about it and I want to talk about it and yada, yada, yada. And men are bad because they don't like my Crocs mission. And that's
Mm,
what we call entitlement. When you have an inner king
mm.
that's rock solid, you're like, you're not
You,
leaving your kingdom because the peasants have a problem with the Croc initiative. It's
yeah,
it's like you're in your kingdom giving your and then you're seeing them where they are.
right,
You're just seeing them that they have they're taking their energy and putting it onto you because they're not going after they could start their own non-croc initiative, but
right.
instead they're putting all their energy onto you. And women do this all the time, let's say with the president. Women will be like, president needs to change this, needs to change this, needs to change this. simultaneously ignoring the man in their bed and ignoring their own purpose. If you want to make
Right.
change, you have to be the change.
Be the
So,
change.
Janae, when you're standing there and
Yes.
you're like, yes, everybody must wear Crocs, and the audience is like throwing tomatoes at you, you're masculine. If he
You're
is
confident.
alpha, he
Yep.
is not going to react. You're
Mm.
alpha, that's masculine energy.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
love
it's so
this.
hot, right? I
This
know.
is so good.
And then
What
you
do you,
like, you're also the muse. So you like kind of turn to
right.
them at the same time and you're like, I love you, tomato throwers. Thank you for showing me how stable I am. I love you. And then they run away and they don't come back. Why don't they come back? Because you didn't have an emotional reaction, so you don't need to repeat the lesson.
Yes.
It's
Oh my
awesome.
God.
Yeah. So many people want to project onto me and they can't because they're like literally can't get in there because I don't care. I'm like, I love you anyway. Ah,
Right. Oh, I
yeah, it's
love it.
awesome. Yeah.
This is
But also
so
don't fuck
good.
with me. You don't come into my, you're not into my
Yes.
space, but also I love you.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
It's so good.
What is that phrase that everyone says? Something, oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. Something about, oh, I can't remember now. It's gonna drive me nuts. It's about like the masculine energy, but people say it's like about men, negative. Oh,
Oh, is it toxic masculinity?
that's thank
I
you.
know.
Okay,
It's so stupid.
what is your thought about that? I'm very
Oh
curious.
yeah, I don't even buy it. I don't even believe in the term toxic relationship because
Mm,
because I wrote the book, The Empath is the Narcissist. The truth is that you're always attracting who you're psychologically meant to be attracting. That doesn't mean that it's going to feel good, but if you're holding on to a story from your childhood that's been abusive and you were unloved, you're going to repeat that story in your adulthood. Why?
yep.
Because you didn't learn to clean up the emotions. That's why emotional intelligence
Yeah.
with kids is like non-negotiable. My son is so emotionally equipped and he's 14. So I
Yeah.
always say my son is like, he's got the consciousness of like a three times divorced 68-year-old man.
Hey, that's great.
Like learned all the lessons so quickly because of the
Yeah.
energy that I hold and the way I mother him in feminine energy and emotional intelligence, I'm also following my purpose. Like that's the
Mm,
best thing that you can do. So with toxic, I don't even say ex-husband. I say my first husband because I think the word ex in front of a
yes.
husband is like really kind of jarring at one point.
Mm,
Whether it was a trauma bond or actual love, we
yeah.
connected. We connected for a reason. So when you don't clean up those connections, and
Mm,
if women are putting that much pressure onto the masculine at large by calling them toxic, it's
mm,
causing like yucky tubes of energy when we should have crystalline, bubbly, beautiful golden tubes of energy connecting us.
yeah.
It's fun and sparkly. But like when we use the words like toxic in front of, there's only feminine and masculine. You're going to take the entire masculine race and call them toxic.
Right.
What the hell is
Yeah.
that? It's actually
I
quite
like that.
toxic femininity. So I don't use the word toxic when it comes to relationships. Every time a
Love
client
it.
says, oh, my first relationship with my first husband was toxic, and I say, please don't use that word around here. We do
Love
not
it.
use that word when we're talking about other humans, even if they're the worst of the worst. And they trust me, there's bad people out there.
Mm.
I know that. I'm very aware of that. I was sexually assaulted twice in the last few years.
Oh,
And so, yeah, I had a repeat of a sexual assault
oh, that's
because
awful.
I'm moving my emotions very quickly. So I'm getting the lessons very quickly. That's why I lost my house 2 years in a row. And
Mm.
so I'm moving fast through the depth that I embody. And so I teach that to people because you don't want to have that in your past. You can
Right.
hold on to that, or you can choose love, but you cannot be in love
Mm.
and fear at the same time. It's impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a
Yeah.
good, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a
Mm, that's
course that
good.
I do, and I say, listen, right now, if you're going to choose the victim, you have to leave my program because I can't coach you. We're going to work through it. The victim's very important to
Mm.
work through. Fuck, I've spent a long time in that victim place. Good Lord. I was like, why isn't anybody rescuing me? Of course, it's important. And you don't want to hold on to that forever. Can ruin your whole life.
Oh, for sure.
For
Yeah.
sure,
And
right?
I
Yeah,
think
you relate it all.
the negative mindset too, just like if you stay in that about everything, you're just gonna be miserable. You are. You're gonna be fucking miserable if you are in the cycle of constant negative self-talk, negative body image. I hate everything. Like it's not going to be good. Like it's so bad for your I think the mindset is something that is so unbelievably powerful. Like
Unbelievable.
that's why I have the word mindset in my logo, and my podcast is called My
Uh-huh.
Naked Mindset. I
Yeah.
just love the word. It's so it's a powerful, our brains can do a lot,
Oh
like
my God. And that's
it's
all
crazy.
emotional intelligence is
Right.
exercising your reaction to your emotions. So when it comes to the mindset, it's going to change as you increase your frequency. So people will be like, well, how do
Yes.
I increase my abundance and my frequency and manifest? And I'm like, well, you first off, you have to understand you're always manifesting what you believe.
Mm,
Your
yeah.
existence is just your consciousness pushed out. So my team is able to, so for example, where we sit at about 30,000 a month with my business, and the goal is to be at 100K a month. And so
Love.
for the last 2 days, I was doing deep energetic work, deep mindset work, and I knew that I needed a vessel to help me expand into that next echelon. And guess what popped into my DMs? This man that I have literally been watching for months. And I said, hey, what's some of your results? And he goes, well, I just took a team you can connect with him. His name is Will, from $40,000 a month to 120,000 a month. And I said, you're hired. I don't even need to know anything else. And
It's
what happened when I
incredible.
hired him? As soon as I hired him, I got a $5,000 sale. So like you don't even have to think. There's no emotional attachment to money. There's no emotional
Yeah.
attachment to the emotions, the fear. Of course it's going to come up. It did come up. I'm like, oh my God, is this man going to help me? It's up to me. It's up to him. But I'm entering a contract that's clean. So I don't look at
Mm,
it like, even if it went all the way sideways, Janae, I wouldn't say
mm,
like he was a toxic prick. I would
right.
say I made that choice in that moment and I got the lesson that I needed to get out of that particular choice in that moment.
That's a
But I,
beautiful way to look at it. Yeah.
yeah, and that's why I'm like, I've never chosen the wrong man. I think that is awful way to live.
It
I've
is.
I've never, I don't have like the worst family. And trust me, I went through all that. It's not easy. There's so much shit you got to go through, and I have so much empathy for people because it doesn't feel
Mm,
good,
no.
but like it doesn't feel good getting like manipulated or because I
No.
definitely got roped in by a narcissist, but I can see because I started off as that person, I can see that they can't see it.
Mm,
Like nobody treats people like that unless they have a serious issue going on inside their heart.
right,
And
right.
so, and I know that, and that's why I'm like, narcissism can be cured. I know it because I've lived
Mm,
it, and trust me, I work with enough high achieving women to know that it can be cured. It's
yeah.
like no empathy. It's so fun. But it's
That's
like
so
yeah,
interesting.
but all I see is I'm like, oh my God, she's so feminine under there. She's just like 95 layers down. We gotta go. And like sometimes
Right.
they're in the midst of like the hell burning and they're like, Asha, I hate you. I hate this. I'm like, just stick with it. We're
Just
getting
stick with it. Right.
yeah, and then like they lose weight, they stop drinking, they have way better sex. Sometimes they leave their
Mm,
relationships and get better, more aligned relationships, not better, more aligned. And
mm.
sometimes their marriage amplifies. It's always the same result: better sex, more money, and
Wow.
hotter.
Oof.
I know
That's a good combo, right?
it's
Better
the good
sex. Like, let's
combo.
go, baby.
Let's
I
go,
like it.
baby.
I
There's
love that.
yeah, yeah. So like
Wow.
I said, it's everything, and so like with emotions, there's no emotional meaning to emotions. You don't have to give
Yeah.
emotion a meaning. That's just the story. So let's say you're
Mm,
feeling really sad or you've been betrayed. Betrayed
mm-hmm.
is an action. You're feeling sad, you're feeling angry, you're feeling embarrassed, right?
Mm,
So what we do is we then say, I was betrayed by this person, and we make them the enemy instead of seeing that they were a character in your film to bring
mhm.
up shame, sadness, and embarrassment in that particular piece of your journey. So, what we do with emotional intelligence is I'll say to you, I want you to feel the shame, the embarrassment, and the sadness separately, each
Mhm,
for 90 seconds. Maybe you could put on some music.
mhm,
And I want you to set a timer for 90 seconds and go deep into the depth of the emotion and
mhm.
pull it all the way up, almost like you're going to the gym and working out your tries or something like
Right.
that. You're getting very intentional with the emotion. What happens in that space is you stop with the story because you then get the aha moment. And then I'll have you write down a letter to the woman that betrayed you and burn it. so that it releases the energetic attachment. And you might have to go through that a few times, right? Because you feel abandoned, you feel betrayed, and then the rage is going to come up. And then we go into the rage of like, what the fuck? And then you're going to feel it. But people get afraid of emotions. You don't have to be afraid of emotions. They're just little
Yeah.
energetic charges that are giving you data. You just need to take the data
Mm.
and figure out what they're trying to tell you. It's fun.
I like that. Wait, you're reminding me of this thing that I did. I can't remember it was like you were going. I'm really bad at explaining this.
Mm.
It was this emotional it was EFT, EF something. And I had this very traumatic event and I was like going through it and I was like bird's eye view watching myself. Is this ringing a bell to you?
Yeah, well, that's EFT. And there's also,
EFT. I was right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like, am
And
I
there's
wrong?
also timeline therapy. So
Yes.
timeline therapy is
I
another
did
way.
that.
Yeah, go on, go on.
It
So
was
that
very,
because it takes you out of the moment, but you're viewing
yes.
the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, from bird's eye view. And then like, okay, do you feel better? No, let's do it again. And
Yeah.
it honestly was it really like truly helped me. I did it with this girl in Australia and she was incredible. But yeah, it was something that I really learned a lot from. So I recommend doing something like that if you're having a hard time and you can't seem to move past those feelings. Because you just reminded me of like, because what do they say? You shouldn't have an emotion for longer than 90 seconds or something like that. It's like,
Yeah, so what happens is we tie the story to the emotion. So you've got to get
right.
the story. You've got to get to the
Yeah.
story. So if the story is, I'm never going to be loved, or
Mm,
I'm never going to be, every time I love a person, they leave me, you're going to keep
right.
perpetuating the story until you get to the root of the wound, which is the abandonment wound.
Yes.
So my program, Self-Worth Warriors, we do energy work because what
Mm,
happens is the emotion can get stuck in your little chakras. So your
right.
chakras are like a line of, there's about 14 of them, but we really focus on seven.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're feeling abandoned, your root chakra, which is the red one at the base of your belly and like kind of right by your butt, that's going to be unstable. It's going to result in headaches. It's going to result in
Mm,
bad back, weight gain, sometimes sickness because you don't feel safe inside your body and everybody around you is not safe and the world's not safe and so on and so forth with there's not enough money, there's never enough money, so
right.
all these are results of like the abandonment wound inside of us. So
Mm,
what we do in Self-Worth Warriors is twice a week we do energy work on your chakras, and then I have a master hypnotherapist that comes in, and then I also have a woman that comes in and she teaches us how to touch certain parts of our body. It's called facial work. And then
mm-hmm.
after we do that, we release emotions by physically touching and
Yes.
moving, and then we listen to sound bowl therapy. And so
Love.
it's teachings in emotional intelligence teachings, and then we back it up with cleaning the DNA. That's why all my clients get
Mm,
glow ups, is like everybody just turns really hot.
it's
And it's like
amazing.
more powerful, like you really want that power. I'm not empowering people. I hate that word. I'm
Yeah.
not do you know empowering means like me giving you power. I'm not
Mm,
giving you power. I'm reminding you of the power that you already
you
got inside yourself.
have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Like
love
empowerment
that.
is like the weirdest word. It's actually like quite like sort of like it derives from like slave times.
Oh,
Yeah,
huh.
I know. People need to look up etymology before they like another good one?
Literally.
Yeah. People will say sometimes to me, how much does your program cost? And I'm like, it's an
Ew.
investment.
Right.
Cost literally, etymologically means to cut off a limb.
Mm,
So there's like a
yeah.
costinologist, and he's like an amputee doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
you don't ever refer to your investments as a cost. There's a
Mm,
cost of inaction. There will be a cost if you invest in fast food. The cost is your health and your well-being.
100%.
So you're always making little investments with your time and with your money and with your energy and your
Mm,
intention. And that is determined on the level of consciousness and worthiness that you believe you have. If you don't believe you're worth it, you're going to consume content, consume content, consume content. If you
right.
believe you're worthy and you should be heard, you're going to create content, create content. You're investing, investing, investing,
Mm.
planting seeds.
Oh my God, I could talk to you for like pretty much all day.
So
This is
fucking
so good. Like
so
so
good.
good. And I feel like we touched on so many different things, but is there anything like any last thoughts before we get into our little game that I love to do with my
Oh, no,
guests?
I'm so excited. I think you are just such a beautiful, easy to talk to woman, and I'm so grateful that you brought me on here today.
Thank you so much. That is honestly such a good compliment. I really appreciate it.
I love you.
And same to you. Like, holy cow, I'm obsessed with your energy. I'm a very energy, like I can feel energy. So I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm feeding off of your energy. I'm like, oh, let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah, good. I hope you get a few upgrades, girl. Get in there. Get some
Yeah.
upgrades. I hope you start bawling your eyes out tomorrow morning. Job done.
Literally, job done.
It's so
Oh,
funny. I'm like, oh wow. It's like my clients will be like, Asha, I'm dying. And I'm like, oh my God, it's working. Yay. They're like, you're such a masochist. I'm like, I know. Call me in a week. You're gonna be like completely like feeling it, feeling
oh
so good.
yeah.
Because once
I
the
love
story is
that.
gone, it's gone.
It's
It's fucking
true.
gone.
Yeah. And you feel better.
You feel amazing.
Okay, are you ready?
Let's do this. I'm gonna put on some lip balm. Okay, as
So
well.
cute. I love it. So the first one is, are you an early riser or night owl?
I am both.
Okay, so you stay up late and you're like, I'm ready in the morning. I'm ready.
Yeah, so it depends. But today, for example, I slept in until like 7:30,
Mm-hmm.
and the night before last, I was up until 2 in the morning.
Oh, damn.
And
Okay.
sometimes I sleep until like 10, and then other times I'm in bed at 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're
Yeah.
both. You're both.
I am. Paradox.
Would you rather like prefer the ocean or a swimming pool?
Oh, God, that's a great question. My God, I used to live on the beach in Australia and then
Oh,
Indonesia, and now I live in Los Angeles. I would actually have to say I might prefer a pool.
yeah.
Australia has saltwater pools. Do you
Oh,
know that? They have saltwater
yes.
pools in the ocean.
That's
Yeah, they're
sick.
pretty awesome. I'd go with that one.
Okay, love that. This one might intrigue you. Would you rather have eyes that can film everything or ears that can record everything?
Eyes that could film everything. I
Love,
love it.
love that.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I'm very visual. And
yes, me
listening,
too.
you are. Listening's
Very.
not my best quality. I always am working on it all the time.
Mhm.
I'm getting much, much better, but I prefer to watch things.
Yes, yes. I love
Yeah,
that.
love that.
Would you rather be a kid forever or be an adult forever?
Oh God, that's also a hard one because I'm such an like an embodied feminine woman, so I'm like a total paradox. Obviously, right now I feel like a kid with you. Um, and then I'm
Oh,
going to see the inaugural ball tonight for the mayor, so I'm gonna have to be a little
that's
bit
gonna
adulty.
be awesome.
That is a great question. I would have to say, like an adult who's super tapped into their inner child.
Yes, I think that's
Yes,
the best
hell
answer
yeah.
because you can
Again,
still, yeah.
I'm kind of like Switzerland in these questions. I'm just riding down the middle.
But it's true. You can still have that inner child and feed into that inner child. Like I like to go on a swing, like on a swing set. Like there's nothing better than being on a swing to me. Like if I come across one, I am hopping on. I don't
Hell
care.
yes. Oh
Love
my
it.
God, girl. So into that. I've got like rainbow glittery roller skates.
Love
Yeah, like
that.
yeah,
That's
you gotta
so
follow me
cute.
on Instagram. I do weird shit. Like
Hey, I love
one
weird
day I'm
shit.
like, balance your checkbook. Make sure you show up with your funnels and systems. And the next day I'm like, wait, let's go get our face painted.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
great. That's the best way to be, in my
Oh yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, yeah. It's so good. I love that.
So the next one is interesting. Would you rather have a new shirt in your closet every single day, or a new pair of shoes in your closet once a week?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with the shoes,
Mm,
especially now because we just lost everything in the fires, and I could
yeah.
definitely use some more new shoes. I'm
Mm,
trying to go the whole year with donated fits 2025. So
that's
I,
good.
I'm off to a good start. I'm getting all my clothes donated, but I need some more donations in the shoe arena.
Yes, we love shoes.
Me too. Would you pick that one too?
I love shoes. I'm a shoe girly, so probably that.
I
I
love
have
that.
so much clothes though, it's disgusting. I honestly should send you some because it's
I know.
insane.
Let me
Seriously.
know. I'm down.
Would you rather give up all technology or give up TV, movies, and books?
Oh my God. I would probably give up technology.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just love movies. I don't watch TV
yes.
here and I really don't read, but I
Yeah.
love films. I mean, does that include like documentaries and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I say that's definitely in the movie
And
realm.
audiobooks. I'll go with audiobooks.
Love
But yeah,
audio.
I would. In fact, we're automating Facebook now, and so that I can get off of social media. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah. If it were up to me, I'd just be on a stage the whole time.
Oh, that's great. That
Yeah,
is good.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good one.
I like that.
Would you rather create a new holiday or create a new language?
Ooh, wow. Well, I already speak like fluent light language. So, and it's fun. I can give your audience a free abundance activation, which
Ooh,
I'm speaking light language in. Um, so maybe I would go with the language.
love it. Love it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's beautiful. Would you rather own a private jet or own a yacht?
Oh, a jet, definitely. Yeah.
You're like, that one's easy.
Easy. Yeah, 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 yeah. I want my son to go to pilot school, and we live the
Ooh,
place we moved to has a pilot school like literally right next door. I was like, oh, weird
wait,
coincidence.
that's cool.
Yeah, he can't start until he's 15, so he's got a
Hey,
year. Yeah,
that's a good goal. I love
pretty
that.
cool, right?
Yeah. What's worse, laundry or dishes?
Oh God, laundry. I like love to cook and I love to clean.
Oh,
I love,
okay.
yeah, I went to culinary school and like we do all meals. Yeah,
Oh,
I plan all
that's
my meals.
neat.
My son, I cook us food every single night. So it's like fun
Wow.
for me. As
That's
far as,
awesome.
yeah, as far as laundry, not the case. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just don't love it.
laundry. Yeah, I don't like it either.
And I used to live in Bali. They used to like send out for it was like $3.
That
I
is my
feel like
dream to
I
go
know,
there.
I know. I'll tell you right now, like getting a cleaner once a week is like $100. I'm really thinking about it
You
because I'm like,
should
yeah, no shit. And
treat
then I won't have to do
yourself.
anything. Yeah. I'd rather do this all day. Talk to you.
Literally.
Or literally.
Um, would you rather, you just talked about pole dancing. Would you rather have or go on a dance class for a first date or go to karaoke on a first date?
Oh, definitely karaoke. I don't like men that can dance that much.
You're like, nope, not for me.
Not a date with a man. Like
Yeah.
I maybe like ballroom dancing, but
Mm,
like I would definitely go karaoke. That's
karaoke.
wicked fun. Have you been to Japan?
No, I
Oh my
need
God, you have to
to.
go. It's so insane. They have like
Yeah.
the best karaoke bars in the universe.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Japanese are so crazy. I love them so much.
My husband loves to do karaoke, and I'm just sitting in the corner watching him, cheering him on. I said, go, honey,
You
go
don't want to
off.
do it, or you're
I
nervous?
mean, I have done it, but I'm definitely not a good singer.
Yeah, you gotta do it for the love of art. I'm not a good singer either. I'm
I
not
think
even.
I I think I just do Nicki Minaj because I like to rap her because
Oh, I
I
love
love
that.
her.
I
Hmm.
love Nicki Minaj. I love
She's
all the musicians, but I like that.
she's so
This,
good.
oh, she's this. This is one song that I love. It's like you carry on, you carry on, switch, switch on, just getting my money on. You know
Hmm.
that song?
Oh yeah, she's honestly just my spirit animal.
Oh, I love that about you. It's like a little
She really is.
I love that.
I
I'm
love it
super
too.
into hip hop. Like
Yeah,
I'm like
so
basically
good.
an insanely gangster white mom in my
Mm.
white silly little Mercedes. I'm like my but everybody's down. I love it. You know,
Fuck yeah.
let's
I
go. I
I
want to
love
be there.
that for you. I love
You
it.
should start a rap album.
That would be very cool.
Let's go.
That would be very cool.
We got to get Benny Blanco. He's going to produce it for us.
Fuck yeah. I
Let's
like that.
go. Oh
I
my
love that.
God. This is
You're like,
happening.
let's go. Let's go.
Put it into the ether. Let's
Right?
create it. Yes.
That's so good. Okay, one last question.
Okay.
Sunrise or sunset is my last one. I always like to end with that one.
Oh, that's such a beautiful one. Definitely sunset.
Sunset.
Yeah, let's go.
Amazing.
Now the party's starting.
Right?
Yeah.
Yay. Oh my gosh. You are great. Please let everyone know where they can connect, find you, find anything you got going on because people are going to listen to this and be like, where do I find this lady?
Yes, I
Love
know.
her.
Come heal with me. It's so fun. I blend anything goes in Self Worth Warriors. That's my program. It is $555. It is like insanely inexpensive. And why is this? Because the goal with Self Worth Warriors is to get everybody to stay and treat their energy work like they would their gym membership. So after you pay the initial 555, which is a 10-week course, you get resource packs, you get recordings, you come into the community. There's about 40 people in there in the moment. You can
Amazing.
stay for $59 a month for like the rest of your life. And so we've got people that are CEOs and lawyers and,
Mm,
entrepreneurs and spiritual women and men. And it's just a blend of everybody who's ready to like really go deep into love, purpose, beauty, and health. And that's what I teach. And I do it with a very unique method where I basically turn your DNA into crystals, from dirty DNA into crystalline DNA. That's what I'm doing, just crystallizing you up. And so that's Self Worth Warriors. It's my staple program. You can also watch me on Instagram, Asha underscore T underscore international. And I'm also on Facebook. I'm not active on Facebook, but my team is there, very active, and that is Asha T. And I've got some really fun stories that you can always watch. So many free deals, so many freebies, so many little things that you can purchase. And my book, of course, is on Amazon. It is called The Empath is the Narcissist. I also, for anybody who's listening that might be in corporate, I also do corporate training, workshops, and
mm.
keynotes in resilience for leaders. And I have a full company that you can find me on LinkedIn as Asha T. LeCount under BeyondEQ International, which is my amazing corporate company.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Mic
fun.
drop, girl. You are
Let's go.
killing it. Thank you
Love you.
so much for being here today, sharing all of your wonderful insights and energy. I absolutely loved our conversation.
Me too. You are such a beautiful soul. And I'm going
Oh,
to wish you so much abundance in this beautiful container that you're putting together for humanity.
thank you. That is the best compliment ever. Oh my gosh.
I love
I'm
you.
I'm touched. I love you.